PlayStation offers the strongest games in every genre, and role-playing games are no exception. With the recent release of Wild Arms and the September release of Final Fantasy VII, PlayStation is becoming the platform of choice for next-generation RPGs, with games produced for the PlayStation console transforming the RPG experience.
Role-playing games in general will give you great stories, great characters, great challenges, and great things to discover. What the next generation gaming is doing is letting you see the worlds, letting you feel the worlds. It's very much in your face and you're in it versus thinking about it.
Role-playing games in the past were really story-driven, and you didn't really pay much attention to the graphics of the games because they weren't very detailed. But nowadays it's more like a movie where you're really, the graphic aspect and the vision is really what's bringing you into the game.
The CD-ROM format makes this movie experience possible.
The extra memory really allows for the developer to put all he's got into the game and really develop the world, develop the characters, develop the storyline to its maximum potential without having to worry about the space limitations of the cartridge.
The differences between the 16-bit and CD-ROM formats are especially apparent during battle sequences.
Well, in the opening sequence of Final Fantasy III, you really get to see some of the limits of the 16-bit medium by its a single force perspective in which basically the whole game's played through. With the 3D combat system in Wild Arms for the PlayStation, it really adds to the combat by showing different angles of the attacks, showing a top view when you go in and strike at the opponent, or a farther away view as you cast a spell on a monster, and it really adds to the feeling of being there and taking place in life and death struggle. Before you were looking at these small 8-bit sprites and you're trying to identify with that character, while now it's the graphics have really brought it up to something you can identify with. The characters are much more realistic.
Wild Arms sold more than 260,000 copies in its first 2 weeks of release in Japan. GameFan magazine calls it one of the most riveting RPGs of the year. And Squaresoft's upcoming Final Fantasy VII also breaks new ground. It's already Japan's fastest-moving RPG ever, selling 1.8 million copies in its first weekend alone. Next-generation RPGs. The capacity of CD-ROMs lets them be movies that you feel, not just novels that you read. If you thought you knew RPGs, it's time to look again.